Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel. And today on Tool Talk episode 28, we're going to be comparing the Pittsburgh pass-through socket set to the Gearwrench pass-through socket set. If you guys haven't seen my previous video, it's one of my Tool Talks where I compare the power-built low-profile socket set to this Pittsburgh pass-through socket set. And if you watch that, you can see that even though this is not a low profile ratchet or set, it still has a lower profile than the low profile socket set. So in my personal opinion, I would find myself just purchasing one of these over a low profile socket set because you really won't find yourself using those. And if you did need it, you could get by with using this because it gets into tighter spots and it has more features such as its pass-through, which the low profile socket set isn't. You also get a bigger variety of sockets and other things as well. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out. It's pretty good. But today we're going to be focusing on these two sets right here and comparing some of the pros and cons of each. So I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below of what you guys think, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys. So to kick this off, we're going to start off with the prices of each. If you go to Harbor Freight, you can find this Pittsburgh pass-through socket set for $20 or $24, and you can use the 20% discount on it and get it for even cheaper. So you're looking at just under $20 for this socket set, which is a 21 piece, whereas this Gearwrench, it will run you anywhere from $65 to $80. It also depends on which one you get. They have it in the 1/4 inch drive, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. This is the 3/8 drive, same as this. Technically there's not a drive because of, well, there's no adapter. But it's your common lengths and sized sockets that makes it the 3/8 set. Next up, we're going to kind of compare the cases that they come in. So from Gearwrench, you'll get a case like this. It usually has a handle on top. I took my Dremel and cut it off because it fits in my drawer better. But as you can see, the Pittsburgh case is quite a bit smaller, but it is also an open case. And I keep it in this. You could take it out, but you might end up dropping sockets everywhere. So I keep it in this little tray. So there's kind of some pros and cons to that. This case is a little bit bigger with the Gearwrench, but you get a nice travel case. It's well organized, and everything fits in here very well. Same thing with this, just it doesn't close like the same way this one does. The only thing I don't like about this is I have to pull this out every time I need a different socket. Whereas this, it's a little bit easier to access everything, so that's one pro to this, but it's also a little bit larger case than the Pittsburgh set. I already stated this is a 21 piece, this is a 23 piece. Basically the difference is this one you just get a 3-inch extension, and this one you have a 6-inch extension, and I believe one more SAE socket. What else? The Harbor Freight, the metric side runs 10 through 19, and the SAE size runs from 5/16 to 3/4, whereas the Gearwrench set runs from 10 to 19 millimeters, same as the Pittsburgh, but as far as the SAE, it runs from 3/8 to 7/8. So you get a pretty big socket for the SAE size. I wish they would have kind of kept going with the metric and went up to maybe like 21, but I do understand 3/8 drive, they usually stop around 19. But overall it's still really nice. It's a good variety of sockets. I stated this one it only comes with a 3-inch extension, where the Gearwrench one comes with a 3 and 6-inch extension. What else? The 3/8 adapters that come with each one, because it's a 3/8 drive set. they both come with an adapter so you can use normal sockets, which I find really handy, just in case this is quicker to get to and maybe I need a pass-through and a regular ratchet, and I don't have to carry two different ratchets around. So they both come with an adapter. The differences are, with the Pittsburgh set, you have the 3/8 drive on one side, and on the back side you have a holder for low bit sockets, such as your Phillips head and things like that. So that's pretty cool. It just sits snugly in this little area. And with the Gearwrench one, you have your 3/8 drive, but instead of having the bit driver on the other end, you have the quick release action for the 3/8 drive, which is also pretty cool. You really have to decide which one you would prefer better. Are you really going to use this bit driver, or do you prefer a quick release on your 3/8 ratchets? Next up is how the sockets are actually held in. With this Pittsburgh set, you just have like a 12-point, it's almost like a spline drive, but really just like a 12-point open end, or box end I should say. And this is the thing I don't like about this case. So, like I was saying before, the difference between how the sockets actually are held into the ratchet. With the Pittsburgh, you have this ball detent on the socket, and it just holds it in there really well. It's nice and snug fit. Whereas the Gearwrench, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. If you can see inside, I doubt it. Right in the middle, about halfway down, is a ring, almost like a hog ring. And it's very thin, and on the sockets you have a groove cut in right here around the socket, which clicks in to that ring on the inside of the ratchet. And it holds it very well. But sometimes when using like the 3/8 drive adapter, I feel it's very snug in there. And sometimes when removing it, I feel like I'm almost gonna pinch that ring or damage it in some way, but I actually haven't had a problem with it. So maybe it works just fine. It's just kind of me getting used to that feature. But besides the way the sockets are held in, the thing that I really like about the Pittsburgh set over the Gearwrench is the fact that with these sockets that are supplied with the Pittsburgh set, you can use any 3/4 wrench, whether it's spline drive like this or a regular ratcheting wrench. The reason I like this is because of the length. So in case I need that pass-through feature, but I really need to get down somewhere, or if I really need leverage, this thing comes in handy. The thing that's nice is the socket clips in very firmly to any 3/4 wrench. I'm sorry. So I find that really nice. Whereas it doesn't matter what wrench you try and use, none of the Gearwrench sockets fit any wrench size. So I was pretty disappointed in that. I was kind of hoping it was similar to the Pittsburgh set. So that is definitely one pro that the Pittsburgh set has over the Gearwrench set. This Pittsburgh pass-through ratchet is 9 inches long. It has a reversible action, and it is 72 tooth. It is very smooth as well, especially for a Pittsburgh product. People might knock Pittsburgh, but I will get into something at the end of the video that is actually, well, to me it was mind-blowing, kind of. But moving on to the Gearwrench one, it also has a comfort grip just like the Pittsburgh, obviously a different style. I do like how they brought the metal all the way down, because this metal shaft stops about 1/3 of the way down the plastic handle, whereas this is metal all the way through and has like this plastic rubber insert, but at least you know it won't break. It is very strong, and you get the reversible action, 72 tooth. It is a little bit louder action than the Pittsburgh, but it still seems to work great. Then you have the locking flex head, which I find very handy, Some people don't like the locking flex head just because sometimes they need to get in between clicks at a certain angle, but I don't really find myself, you know, absolutely having to use a pass-through socket set at a specific angle. I'm pretty sure anytime that I'm gonna be using this set, it's not gonna be in such a dire situation where I can't get the right angle. The reason I like the locking feature is because when I'm really torquing down on something, I don't want the handle to move back and forth and end up punching something and hurting myself. So I really like that. I really like the 12-inch length of this ratchet as well. So you get quite a bit extra length on the Gearwrench. So that is one pro for the Gearwrench. Now, as far as the sockets, this is the 19mm. I will move you guys up to the workbench here in a minute and actually show you guys up close. But the Pittsburgh socket is just a hair shorter than the Gearwrench sockets. But when we start to take a little bit closer look at the two ratchets, the Gearwrench head is actually a hair thinner than the Pittsburgh. Okay guys, so like I was stating, the Pittsburgh socket is a little bit shorter than the Gearwrench socket, just by a hair. But then again, the Gearwrench head is just a hair shorter than the actual Pittsburgh. And I'll get you guys down here in just a second and get you a real close-up of it. But I just wanted to show you that the sockets are shorter on the Pittsburgh, but the Gearwrench ratchet head is actually thinner or shorter on the Gearwrench set compared to the Pittsburgh. But I have both 13mm sockets here for both sets. As you can tell, the Pittsburgh set is a little bit larger in diameter at the base, whereas the Gearwrench is a little bit thinner diameter. So we'll get both of these put in here, and I'll get you guys down here and you guys can take a closer look at the depths of them. Now, one thing I did notice is they did leave a little bit of the socket to hang out the back, just to make it a little bit easier to pop the socket out, whereas the Pittsburgh kind of sits flush in there. It still doesn't make it hard to get out. It's just a little bit different design. But let's get down here and take a closer look and see how shallow these really are. I'll get a normal ratchet and that low profile ratchet out, and we'll compare them all. Alrighty guys, what I have here is a Gearwrench locking flex head 3/8 drive with a 13mm. Then I have the Gearwrench pass-through with 13mm. Then I have the Powerbuilt low profile 13mm 3/8 drive and the Pittsburgh pass-through, once again 13mm. So all 3/8 drive, all 13mm, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the depth of them. So this is the thinnest head ratchet that I have, a normal ratchet. It's the thinnest one that I have, so that's why I used it. Then you got the Gearwrench, the Powerbuilt, and the Pittsburgh. As you can tell, all three of these are quite a bit shallower than your normal ratchet and socket. But you can see the socket sticks out on the bottom of the Gearwrench a little bit, and the Powerbuilt sticks up because of the reversible action, and the Pittsburgh actually sits flush. So you can obviously push this down. Oh, sorry about that, guys. And the Gearwrench and the Powerbuilt low profile socket set, I would say they have identical depths. Whereas the Pittsburgh is just a hair shorter. So I believe all three of these are great for low profile use, and these two being pass-through socket sets, you kind of get that extra feature. So I don't believe a low profile socket set is worth it, especially if you already have a pass-through socket set. But now that we've kind of compared the shallow features and everything else, I'm going to go into some details about the two sets that might surprise you guys. Alrighty guys, so that is the Gearwrench 23-piece metric and SAE pass-through socket set compared to the Pittsburgh 21-piece pass-through socket set. Now, getting into some of the details as well, both of them do have lifetime warranty, but I kind of feel better with the Gearwrench warranty just because I almost know that Gearwrench isn't going to be going out of business or discontinuing this item for quite some time. And I'm not saying Pittsburgh is, but you guys know if you go to Harbor Freight how often they're changing products, and as soon as that product is basically gone, you can't really get it warrantied out. So that could be iffy, but I'm not too worried about it, especially since I haven't had a problem with either one yet. I haven't had the Gearwrench one long, but I'm sure it'll hold up just fine. The part number for the Gearwrench one, by the way, is 893823. And like I said, you could find it probably close to $60. Otherwise, it usually ranges from $65 to $80 online. So now here's something that was kind of mind-blowing to me. I know Gearwrench has both Taiwan and China-made stuff, and I asked the seller of this where it was made. It's made in China. So I was pretty disappointed in that. I really wish it would have been the Taiwan product. I know Taiwan is nowhere near USA made quality products, but I still find that Taiwan made products are a little bit better quality than China's. And I'm not saying that for everything, some things people are just better at making. But in most cases, I find Taiwan stuff is better quality than China. And I was pretty disappointed to find out this was China made. But just hands on it, it still feels like a really good operating pass-through socket set. But the thing that blew my mind is, it's not mind-blowing, but which was kind of disappointing to me. This pass-through socket set is made in Taiwan. So I got to thinking, and I think that is why maybe the ratcheting portion of this pass-through socket set sounds a little bit better than the Gearwrench's operation. The operation of the Gearwrench sounds really, really loud, and it just feels weird in the hand, but it still feels like decent quality. But that's really something that might bug some people. It might not bother some people. Would you prefer to have the cheaper Pittsburgh one from Taiwan or the little bit more expensive Gearwrench one from China? Now, with the Gearwrench set, you get 2 more pieces, an easier accessible case. It's a little bit easier to access parts as well as keep them stored. As well as you get a locking feature with the Gearwrench product, whereas the Pittsburgh one is just a solid shaft ratchet. You have no flex feature. That might be a big deal to some people, might not be a big deal to others. Now, I'm not saying Gearwrench that this product is a bad product, because it's not. It's still really a really good tool, but I don't say this too often, but I really think that Gearwrench has this product a little overpriced. I think they should either lower the price or at least have it manufactured in Taiwan to where the quality is a little bit better. So either one, but I'm not mad about the purchase. I'm still happy with the purchase, but just a little bit disappointed, if that makes sense. I really do try and stick to, when I get tools from other countries, I try and stick to Taiwan over China. So that's just something, that's how I feel about it. But like I said before, the Pittsburgh set is roughly $20, whereas the Gearwrench set is $65 to $80. Is the Gearwrench set worth an extra $45 for those 2 pieces, a flex feature, and a little bit better blow molded case? It depends. It's really up to you guys. I'm happy with both. One will be for home and one will be for work. Alrighty, YouTubers, so that's about it for my Gearwrench and Pittsburgh pass-through socket set comparison video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope if you guys are looking at a pass-through socket set, like one of my subscribers commented before. He did notice that the Gearwrench, basically Apex Tool Group, Craftsman, all of those guys basically have this feature. That's another thing that you might want to look into. You can't use the sockets from the Apex Tool Group's pass-through socket sets with any other wrench, whereas you can use the sockets from the Pittsburgh set with any 3/4 inch wrench. So that is one feature that I do love about the Pittsburgh set, and even though it is Pittsburgh, I've absolutely loved this product since I got it. I've had no issues with it. I don't own a lot of Pittsburgh, but what I do own, I'm pretty happy with. And stay tuned for that, because I will be doing a video of just my Pittsburgh tools that I do own, and let me know what you guys think. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of the products. Is Gearwrench pass-through socket set worth it? Do you find yourself ever needing it? I've actually had a few situations where I found myself needing it, but some people might not need it. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. And also, as always, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. See you guys next time, and have a good day.